Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Rishi Harinan and C News is live at noon. Topping the news at this time, there is a power outage at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex. However, inpatient services are not being affected. The Chief Executive Officer of the North Central Regional Health Authority told us TNTech power went down just after 6 o'clock this morning, and since then the facility had to switch to backup generators. He explained only some services are being affected.
We are on generators, so all inpatient areas of electrical supply. The only areas that we've shed load on are the outpatient clinics, and those are areas where people had optional appointments. All the required areas, the ICU, etc., the emergency department, have electrical supply.
We were told one of the feeder cables got damaged, hence the problem. TNTech officials are at the facility and they are working to fix the problem. The bus lay-by next to the Hollywood Tudia Promenade in Arima will be closed until 6 p.m. today. According to the Mayor, Lisa Morris-Julian, this is to accommodate arrangements for the funeral service of entertainer Devon Matthews at the Arima Velodrome. She said all buses from the Public Transport Service Corporation are required to load and offload passengers by KFC Windsor on Hollis Avenue. 36-year-old Matthews passed away early on Sunday, July 16th from a heart attack. The funeral service will take place this afternoon at the Arima Velodrome from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. On Sunday, fans of the artist got a chance to view his body at a public viewing which was held at the Arima Town Hall. They were also allowed to sign a condolence book. Anthony Sinanan, the man charged with the murder of 17-year-old David Sankaro, is to reappear in court on August 21st. This morning, the 37-year-old South Oropuch man appeared before a superior magistrate. 17-year-old David Sankaro died after he was run over by a pickup van on Sunday, July 16th. Sankaro had reportedly intervened in a domestic dispute, stopping a man from beating a woman. In the process, the man came at him with a knife before starting the van and running over the teen with the vehicle. Sinanan was not granted bail as the charge was laid indictably. A third suspect has been charged in connection with the murders of 13-year-old Vidya Subar and 56-year-old Hafiza Rose Mohammed. He has been identified as Devon Edwards. He is expected to appear before an Arima magistrate today. Reports say the man is 25 years old and the order to charge him was given by the Director of Public Prosecution. The DPP also gave instructions to release a 32-year-old man who was detained in connection with the double murder. Two people, a 24-year-old man and a 54-year-old relative of Mohammed, have already been charged with the double murder and have appeared before an Arima magistrate. Another man has been shot and killed. He has been identified as Terry Allen. The incident took place on Sunday in Pity Valley. C News understands Allen was shot 6 times in the right side of the chest. Police are investigating. To some other news now. The Cabo Star, the new cargo vessel on the domestic sea bridge, will be sailing later this afternoon to Tobago. President of the Truckers and Traders Association, Horace Hamid, said the vessel will carry over 100 trucks, some of which were left at the port over the weekend.
The Cabo Star will be sailing today minus drivers. They'll be bringing up the truck. Around 2 o'clock, it should leave Port of Spain today. Reach Tobago about 6, 7 o'clock tonight. I'm not certain at this present time, but I believe you'll have almost 100 or more trucks, because trucks were left back from Friday. We had no trucks that left back Friday. Who should have come Saturday? Who should have come Sunday? And who was to come today?
This morning, Mr. Hamid told us there was a backlog of trucks to go to Tobago since no sailings took place over the weekend and the Trinity transporter broke down. Meanwhile, Mr. Hamid went on to say members of the association are still working to get compensation for monies they would have lost since the Galicia left.
We will be seeking compensation. We're trying to quantify the losses that we suffered, and we have to have a team, a legal mind looking at it to see what's the best way we could go forward in terms of compensating us for the loss that we suffered over the past 4 months.
The C News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. Well, the trade union movement says it is very concerned about the crisis within the prison system in Trinidad and Tobago. As a result, the movement will be joining with the Prisons Officers Association to address concerns the members are facing. A press conference was held this morning at the Golden Grove prison. Our reporter Ian Wason was there and is on the phone to give us an update as to what was said. Good afternoon, Ian.
Good afternoon. At the press conference this morning, opposite the Golden Grove prison, the trade union movement, that would be the union, the umbrella bodies of NATOC, JTM, and the FITON, and they were speaking about the conditions that the prison officers are working under, and they stated that the maximum prison is not really a maximum security prison because they have no alarm system working. They're also calling on the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, to remove the National Security Minister, retired Brigadier Edmund Dillon. They say that he's putting more emphasis in the other bodies under the national security and not the prison officers. And they're also questioning the motive behind. They're saying that the government is not really trying to fix the issue of the remand population because obviously there are persons who are benefiting from the high remand population because they are getting the contracts to transport them to and from the courts. So there are a lot of issues that they mentioned, and of course they will go deeper into it in the coming days.
All right, thank you very much, Ian Wason, our reporter Ian Wason, just giving us an idea on what was said during that press conference with the trade union movement outside the Golden Grove prison. And we'll have more on that story throughout the afternoon. Well, police officers have welcomed the decision to have body cameras on their person while on duty. On Friday, the police service launched its body-worn camera pilot project. It becomes effective from August 1st. President of the Police Service Social and Welfare Association, Inspector Michael Seals, said this is a good initiative as the cameras can be accessed in real time. Therefore, members of the public would be able to view footage from police body cameras should there be any discrepancy or an investigation concerning a police officer and civilian.
What it does is provide for support platforms that can assist them if anything untoward starts to occur.
Mr. Seals explained the body cameras are simply an extension of CCTV cameras. The only difference is it is worn on the officers themselves.
We are quite equipped to treat with the issue and respond to the issue of body-worn cameras. I think it was too long in making. This is something that the PTPS should have gotten some years ago. But we are here now. I think it's a very good start. The Commissioner should be applauded for this, and we need to take this initiative and roll it out into this year, into the following year, and make it full-fledged, not just a pilot project.
Now for the weather, according to the Met Office, partly sunny periods interspersed with a 70% chance of light to moderate showers occurring anywhere over the islands. There is a 40% chance some of these showers could become heavy and/or thundery near western areas. Nighttime mostly settled except for some brief lingering showers. Expect gusty winds, street and/or flash flooding in the vicinity of heavy showers and thunder showers. Games such as marble pitch and musical chairs aren't often played by children anymore, and Tobagonians should do more to have them involved in those games. According to George Leacock, the man in charge of the Tobago Heritage Festival, there is no excuse for not exposing young people to games like those.
I think the Chief Secretary in his statement yesterday, he was there, as was several Assembly people, that we maybe need to have some of these things more often, to encourage the schools to get involved in them and get the children back in playing in a fine castle. Do you know my CCO, and which one would you like, and all of that, as a part of the educational system, really, because there are a number of lessons that are learned from those things.
Well, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley was in Mason Hall, Tobago on Sunday for the Heritage Festival, where he did take part in some of the events. Beyond Panorama and making it a full-time business. That was the aim of the University of Trinidad and Tobago's lecture series entitled The Business of Pan. During his address, renowned steel pan expert Nestor Sullivan said, "The mentality of only playing the national instrument during carnival time needs to stop." He called for stronger administration to take place, with the leadership capacities necessary for a successful steel band.
The majority of the bands, they really don't have full-time administrative people. You know, most people involved with steel band, they have a work somewhere else, and after work, they pay attention to the band. But because of the nature of steel bands now, if you have to get into the business of steel band, we really need a different approach. We really need to upgrade the skill sets available for the administration of these orchestras.
Moving to some other news now, where residents of a Santa Cruz village believe moving out is their only option after a landslide in the area severely damaged houses and put several others in danger. Several government officials visited the area on Sunday and agreed the situation was indeed perilous. Peter Christopher has more.
About 2 p.m. yesterday, rain was falling. I was sweeping water in front of the yard from coming inside. All of a sudden, I hear a rumbling sound. When I look back, the whole bank came down into the kitchen.
Emily Sukraj tearfully recounts the incidents which saw her home severely damaged and her daughter hospitalized on Saturday.
And my brother room ended up breaking down too, and I don't know how this child come out. She ended up damaging her foot, ended up in the hospital.
The rains would return on Sunday, adding to her concerns and the similar fears of her neighbors that the earth would come down again. She told reporters that this is the third time in the past decade she has had to deal with damage to her home following landslides. She said she doesn't want to rebuild here again.
My husband is down Mega Road by his niece. My husband has worked hard. He just leave here at 5 in the morning, come back home here at 8 o'clock in the night. He's worked real hard. And I like something to be done. I said I get a home or something. I can't take this again. I don't want to live here again.
Both Minister of Local Government Kazim Hussain and MP for the area Dr. Nayan Gatsby Dolly visited the area on Sunday. The St. East MP said the impact of the rains in the area were particularly worrying.
It is something very concerning. I think every member of parliament, every councillor, at this point, when once you have hills in a constituency or it's low-lying and it's flooding, when you see the rain, you try to tremble as well, because you know that it can be somebody else who is under the stress, and therefore it becomes even more important for this kind of collaboration you're seeing here today between the member of parliament, the council and the ministry and so on, to be able to bring whatever relief we can to everyone.
While Minister Hussain admitted that the village itself was in danger.
Because if you look across the scene, started to come down already, you know. Started to come down. If you watch down there too, it coming down because it started clear already. Remember, these houses built on a slope.
Chairman of the Sarwar-Laventille Regional Corporation, Anthony Roberts, confirmed that the area was an unplanned development with no approval from Town and Country Planning. However, the minister confirmed that Ms. Sukraj and her family would be granted rental assistance for the next 3 months, allowing them to relocate for the time being. Peter Christopher, C News.
National coach Dennis Lawrence has named a 19-man squad to travel to Ecuador for Wednesday's international friendly against Ecuador in Guayaquil with a few omissions. Following 6 days of training, he decided that these were the best available players, especially with a couple players out through injury, and in the case of Super League hitman Karen Clark, he misses out because his passport wasn't processed in time. Also skipping the trip is the Tobago duo of Keon Daniel and Rondell Winchester, both of who got injured during the week of practice. Mexico-based Jamal Williams was also forced out as he is awaiting the paperwork on his work permit renewal. As a result, W Connections winger Neil Benjamin makes the trip on Monday for Wednesday night's game in the Estadio Banco del Pacifico in Guayaquil. Well, that's it for sport. Well, that's how we end the C News report at noon. I'm Rishi Harinan, and remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, visit the C News website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.